Warning, the following video has a little bit of David and a little bit of Dean. Viewer discretion is advised. Alrighty, boyos. Welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing, guys? Today, we have some pretty freaking awesome content on the channel. It's Saturday, everybody's home from work, everybody's home from school and all that kind of stuff. And, we kind of had a little bit of a world record earlier on in the week. We did like 100 Storm King runs. It was pretty fun, but I would like to announce the next world record or the next world premiere, if I can edit this correctly. Boom, baby. David Dean right there, man. What's up, David?
Hey, you guys inspired me to get the face cam working, so how's life?
David Dean has finally got the face cam. Life is good, in his words. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of speculation on Frostnite. Frostnite's going to be coming up in the next few days. With the most recent patch, the community's kind of been a little bit iffy with only the Ralphie's Revenge being released. So we're going to be talking about Frostnite coming out, maybe go on into some 2019 Twine Peaks area, and just kind of stuff like that. Not entirely sure how long this is going to be. Knowing me and David, it could be 5 hours long, but I'll see what we can do. So, first up, we can go ahead and start talking about Frostnite. David, whenever it comes to Frostnite, what is probably the number one thing that you're looking for with the new event?
Pretty much, really do want to see the new weapon set. They have said, Magus, I think, put out a little post about them having a new weapon set with Frostnite. Yeah, I think I saw that on your bonus news. And, and then also just the endless event mission. That hopefully will be great. Get in there some really good teammates and see how far people can really take it. A lot of people kind of love that as far as taking it up for Challenge the Horde, seeing how high of level they could go. So anything with that where you got the challenges, yeah, I'm loving it.
I think as long as they can execute the endless mode well, what they need to do is, Challenge the Horde was really good in the sense that, you could basically run it as many times as you want, and it got harder and more difficult. But the thing with it is that they didn't really have the rewards to accommodate for it. So
True.
I think the number one thing with the endless mode is that they're going to have to give people a reason to want to play this endless mode. If somebody survives over 40 waves and they get nothing but, a rare perk cache, then things are going to be a little bit different. But we've also seen exciting things like, the lone Krampus that might appear, while you're doing it, and maybe some mechanics that we just completely don't know about that could be popping up whenever you're doing it. So is there anything like you think that they got hidden from us, maybe either with this mode or with something else, or some kind of surprise up their sleeve, seeing as we kind of had Fortnitemares earlier, which wasn't too good?
Yeah, Fortnitemares was kind of sad. I mean, if you hadn't done it last year, okay, it was something cool and new, but if you did it last year, then yeah, it got really boring really fast. Mainly if you're level 100 or 120 and you're forced to do level 76 missions in the Fortnitemares, which was totally wrong. So hopefully they have that fixed. Hopefully they will have a level 100 plus area for higher level content. And then I would hope the rewards would be tied to the tickets, snowflake tickets, because with the llamas being 1,000 each, and the fact is everybody's going to want those new weapons and check them out. As far as them coming up with something totally different, I don't know, because what I really want is another boss like the Storm King. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they put that one out kind of in test mode. Hey, how do people react to this? How much do they like it? And they will put more in the future, but probably they had the winter event already done and canned before that came out. So unfortunately, I'm not sure if we're going to see another boss on that level this soon.
If I had to give like my own opinion on it, I kind of want to go ahead and say this for any people that are watching, that with the whole Krampus thing that we're going to be seeing in this new event, I think it should be said that we're probably more expecting this to just be kind of like function like a mini boss, and how current mini bosses work right now. It's probably going to be like a reskin taker, as funny as that is to say now. It's probably going to be just something reskinned, or nothing too crazy. So I wouldn't expect something too insane from it, but honestly, you know, a lot of people were a little bit speculative whenever Magus said that old weapons would be coming back. If I really had to like say the best way to fix this is maybe have like two separate llamas, if that. You could have, because you know it kind of would make sense now because we have a llama that gives legacy weapons for 1,000 tickets. It gives and whenever I say legacy, I just mean old event you know, weapons and stuff. So what they could do is they said that they have an entire new weapon set as well as some old stuff coming back. Instead of just feeding us old content, why not just give us both at the same time, and then maybe just give us like a snowball launcher later down the line, but go ahead and have the tickets there, you know, ahead of time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I mean, one of the issues, people get excited about the old weapons coming back, but unfortunately, the reason people were so excited about the Hydra and different old weapons is because they had set perks on them that were good perks at a time you couldn't change your perks.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you can change up your perks, like the Ralphie's Revenge, that was amazing because it had headshot damage on it.
Yep.
And that was really rare or non-existent until that showed up. But now we got so many weapons that specialize in headshot damage. Ralphie Revenge comes down to just another weapon. So yeah, people are going to want to focus on the newer stuff, definitely.
Yeah, I think when most people found sight of the Ralphie's Revenge in the most recent past, and I tried my best, you know, most of the time people consider me probably one of the most critical people whenever it comes to Epic Games. If something bothers me, I'll just say it outright. Normally, I would have been a little annoyed. I think most of the community has been expecting the past two weapons that have come from Battle Royale. I know I've been talking about it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
the AK-47 or AK-12, and then you got the Spaz 12, which is, you know, looks similar to the Ground Pounder, but still it's its own thing. You know, I don't think it would have been too hard for Epic just to be like, hey, you know, we're still waiting for this new content. You know, here's an AK-47, here's a Spaz 12 or whatever. But honestly, I don't feel like the community should have really been judging too bad. I did that whole news video, and then at least half the comment section was pretty upset with the Ralphie's Revenge. And granted, you know, it's not the best thing ever. Old Betsy pretty much beats it in every single way.
Yeah.
So there's not really a reason to have it except for collecting it. But, you know, you got to remember that they have been hyping this up. You know, they just got done hyping up Fortnite Mares. And I will always say this until Frostnite comes around and either I look smart or look like an idiot. There is no way that they are going to hype up the second event as much as they did Fortnite Mares if they just plan to underdeliver or not have something ready ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be somewhere in between of Fortnite Mares and the new Storm King boss, where it's okay, this is new, this is pretty nice, but it's not as great as this other thing. And I think after the new year, now that they know how much people really love that new type of boss fight, they will start implementing that in hopefully all the event stuff. As far as bringing stuff over from Battle Royale, I do think they're going to be doing that. But remember, most of the time they do it every week. They will put in one item. I definitely think we'll see the sword over there because it fits the theme of the event. And it's a really cool looking sword. So why not just throw it in the event store? So looking forward to that.
That's definitely something I was talking about because I know that the community as well kind of had a little bit of an outrage with the Infinity Blade. And, you know, I was saying that we don't have Frostnite yet. I was about to say Frost Nightmares. We don't have Frostnite yet, you know, and the way that they specifically worded that weapon is that, well, for number one, I didn't even know that was an Epic Games game. Infinity Blade apparently is an App Store game that they took down now because they can't have any developers for it. So they decided that they would want to put it in Fortnite. You know, if it's their game and they're doing a crossover with another one of their games, wouldn't it make sense to just not put it in 1/3 of the game? You know, you got, well, now, because now we have creative mode, but, you know, Save the World, it would make the most sense. And you can immortalize the Infinity Blade and Save the World. Most people in Battle Royale, they're going to complain about it. You know, hey, I can't play competitively. This is ridiculous. Save the World, all we do is kill zombies. I mean, nobody's going to complain about having the Infinity Blade. And they used the terminology mythic when they were talking about it. The only mythic rarity that I know of in Fortnite is in Save the World. So
Hmm.
it's either going to be some really cool quest line, it's going to be tied to the new game mode, or it's going to be in the event shop for like 3,000 gold or something crazy like that. But it could even be, in the endless mode, maybe reach wave 50, and then that makes the in-game players want to get there. But, there's no telling how they're going to do it or if they're going to do it, so I don't want to get people's hopes up. But you got to understand, before you start freaking out, you got to understand what we got coming in the future, beforehand. Then you are open to criticize Epic. Especially with a huge content release right on the horizon. Right now really isn't the time.
Yeah, and I do think, I mean, some of it's just timing, because I really think the turret with the constructor Earhart was originally designed for us,
Yeah.
Save the World, and it just happened got released over there. Same thing, kind of, I think, with the sword, where, hold it, they know that's going to end up as a permanent item over in Save the World. Hey, but Season 7's coming out before Fortnite or Frostnite, and so it just happened to get released over there first. But no, and they should definitely be copying and use different things. There's no way you can prevent that. I mean, there's been so many games out there with so many different weapons. You try to name a weapon something cool that has never been named that before, it's pretty much impossible to do. And that's just the nature of it.
Oh yeah.
So
And like you said with the Earhart thing, even Magic. I think I got it somewhere in a video. Whenever we were first talking about it, whenever it first came out, because I remember specifically on Twitter, somebody linked me your video, and I was like, crap, dude, David Dean got to the news before I did. He started talking about it before me. And I was like, well, I guess I'll do it. I think even in that video, I was like, guys, David Dean's the most reliable source. He beat me to it. If it's got anything to do with a constructor, he's on it. But in that thread, I believe Magis was talking about, he was like, yeah, we were working closely with the Battle Royale team to get this out, but they noticed bugs with the Save the World version, which honestly I'm kind of scared to think about what those bugs were, because we still had them whenever it came out.
Yeah.
So hopefully Earhart does get fixed and we see more people in the future like that. But yeah, so it's no foreign concept. We already know that the Save the World team works with the Battle Royale team, and through people like Criddle Craddle, we know that the art team works together as well. He's spoken on his live streams. He said that you have Battle Royale people in the art team, you have Save the World people in the art team, and then you got both. And I think that we see a lot more than that than we think. I think specifically around the release of the Wraith. How that literally came out in Battle Royale, and then at the shop reset came out and Save the World. So it either could have been a Save the World idea first, or it could have been a Battle Royale idea first. It's just like the Silent Spectre and the Spectre in that case, whenever it comes to Siegebreaker and Wraith or whatever. But yeah, it is no foreign concept that Save the World and the Battle Royale team do work together. So for any people that are holding out hope for an Infinity Blade, I think Frostnite could probably be your event to find it in.
Yeah.
But overall, if you had to say, your own personal opinion on whether or not you think the hype is justified, whether you think we're going to see anything like Fortnitemares, what exactly do you think as far as like hype is concerned for the newest event? I mean, we're going to see it in about less than a week. So I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on it, but David's thoughts usually come through the most. So what are your thoughts about it?
I'm trying to tamper down my excitement about the event, just because we went through such a long drought of them just giving us basically reskin events, hardly any updates. In the last 2 months, they have put out good, solid content, and sometimes even higher than what we expected. I hope that's what it keeps going with Frostnite. I do have high expectations for it. They are really competing right now, and it isn't just the Save the World or Battle Royale, it's the Epic's Game Shop, and they are willing basically to take a little, basically not really going for money as much as they're going for market share. They want to get as many people over here away from stream, away from other games, and they've actually been really smart with it, with the support of creator, and now with Epic Game Shops, where people have been putting in my David Dean and I get credit for them buying the game, which gives me a little bitty piece of money back.
It's still there.
But
It's still there.
it's everything is focused on them, and they've learned. I mean, going big picture, over at Amazon, they are a lot of times losing profit. They're actually losing money to try to push everybody else out to get the market share to kind of take over and become the dominant. And they've definitely done a great job. And that's kind of seemed like the mentality now Epic Games is doing. So I do think they're going to put a lot into Frostnite. They know the Christmas season is absolutely vital. They want every single kid's Christmas money. They want everything. I mean, that's just the way the company works. I got no problem with that because every toy company is competing with that. Everything is competing for that. And yes, I do think they're going to give us a really good event.
And even whenever you were talking about, you know, them trying to prepare for Christmas and whatever, we definitely saw that with the release of Storm King. I don't think I've ever seen an Epic Games post on Twitter or Instagram so hyped up than the Storm King post that they put. They had like its own little animation. They had it all looking flashy and stuff. You had all these battle royale guys commenting under it like, "Hey, should I dust off my Save the World and try this out?" These people got millions of followers on Twitter, and all those millions of followers are getting directed to this specific tweet, and they're like, "Whoa." They're like, "What is going on in Save the World? This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this, and this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this." So you can only imagine what the Battle Royale guys are thinking. They're like, this looks pretty insane. This looks like some Battle Royale type stuff. And it's on a grand scale. It looks epic. You got a lot of people from Battle Royale interested just off of that Storm King. It's not even the pin. It's nothing like that. They look at that and they think it just looks freaking awesome. And it's kind of like what we discussed the other night. You look at A1 get this money, and his video on the Storm King boss fight thing has already gone viral in the community. Everybody has seen it. If the Save the World community was like that big on its own, then we would normally be seeing like 200 to 300,000 views a video. But no, you can tell that a lot of people from the Battle Royale community were watching that video. That is very out of the normal to just get a video in a few days to over 600,000 views. And I'm not sure what it's at right now, but you have a lot of people. 740. You have a lot of people.
By the time this comes out, it'll probably be 1 million.
Yeah. You have a lot of people interested. So I think what you're saying, David, is probably the most true thing as far as Frostnite is concerned, and that's Epic Games is trying to double down on some marketing, trying to, make it look good, and then execute it very well so that people who are newer can enjoy it, people that are older players can enjoy it, and that if it's perfectly executed, people are definitely going to be sticking around for 2019 and for things like the hero rework and huger things that they got planned in the future.
Yeah, and if you look at the plan, the big picture, or at least what I think Epic's big picture with the whole rollout was, first of all, you come out with this amazing new boss fight nobody's ever seen before in either mode. Okay, that's awesome. But how do we get the Battle Royale guys over there? Hey, let's put a time limit on the reward, and we're going to, for the first time ever, give a physical reward. We're going to give you this pin, and we're going to mail it to every person who gets it done before 1 January. Now you put a time limit on the Battle Royale people to come over and start playing. Then you put out the winter event to give them some experience with something special going on in the community, giving the endless mode, whatever the campus boss is going to be. It's actually a very intelligent move, basically stacking up 3 things in a row to bring over a large part of the other Fortnite community over to our side and get people excited about it. The thing is that really got me angry and frustrated with Save the World and how little development was being done in the last 9 months was how much potential it has. Yes. I mean, with the building aspect, the husk aspect, they're coming from space or somewhere else interdimensionally. They have the platform to build an insanely amazing game. And now they're starting to show that. They're starting to put forth that effort. And I really do think they know the battle royale community. People are going to get bored with it. People are going to go try out something new, and they're trying to make sure that something new is first save the world and second the Epic Game Store.
Oh
So
yeah.
they're trying to keep all that right where it is,
And
which is just smart business sense.
oh yeah. And we've also seen that with the creative mode that's become a thing. But
Yeah.
instead of a whole nother battle royale situation where there's this other mode getting 100% preferred development, we're seeing that both Save the World and creative are both hitting the scene in a sense that, hey, Save the World exists because here's a gigantic Storm King. Also, we got this thing coming on later. And then creative mode comes out. It's obvious that, Fortnite or Epic Games, they're planning on people eventually getting tired with battle royale. There's only so much you can do with 100 people on an island over and over and over and over again. There's only so much you can do. And I think that Epic Games are making a very smart decision as far as that's concerned. And like you said, it all comes down to perfect timing. All these people are getting invested in Save the World, probably just based off of that Storm King fight. And if they don't have a chance at the pin, they have a chance at the new event. You might have people that are going to buy the game around Christmas just for the sole purpose of trying out that boss fight. But then, they're sitting there, 5 days in, they're like, you know what? This is kind of boring. But then, you have the entirety of the event that is going on as well that is going to encourage you to keep playing and to keep on going. So I think it's really, really good marketing. It's really good decision from Epic Games. And the pin as well, yeah, it incites Battle Royale players to play, but that's probably the best thing that, the hardcore audience has really gotten. I still got a lot of my subscribers that come in the comment section. They're like, wow, I just got to Canny and they released Canny Part 3, or I just got Canny Part 2. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, dude, there's still a lot of people that are on the early stages of this game, and I don't even think about it. I've been in Twine Peaks for a very long time. And so for me, it was really cool going back to Canny and then finishing it. And then, instead of being like, wow, I just did a bunch of low level content just for the sake of nothing, I'm like, I just got to experience this amazing battle. They promised it's coming to Twine Peaks and then in lower zones. And on top of that, I'm getting a special pin in real life. So they're catering to the new audience, they're catering to the older audience, and they're catering to the people that are in between. I think Epic Games is doing a great job right now, considering the past few months have been terrible. I don't think they want to lose out on any credibility that they have right now with the community. And with Frostnite, they're under a lot of pressure to make sure that they do it correctly.
Yeah, and we got a total unknown probably coming up after Frostnite, where they've stated 3 times now, I've seen it in bold, in quotes, this is the end of stand and fight and save the world. So they got an entirely different game mode, basically, when you hit Twine Peaks that we haven't seen yet, where we are taking the fight to them. And then you got to ask yourself, with Twine Peaks, the only thing we've seen of it is the Storm Shield defense, where it is a burned out area of lava and volcanoes, and there's so much you can do to that. So now are we going to be doing raids and other things? It would be great. Even I was thinking with the Storm Shield defenses, where instead of having a spawn, you have the Storm King pop up and he's spawning Huss. And so you got to make a decision. Okay, we got to send 2 people out to try to kill the Storm King to stop the spawns, and we got to have 2 people hold back to protect whatever we're defending. And then you add in elements of the creative mode into our Storm Shield defenses, making it more creative, what you can build and everything else, which I've said from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be able to personalize our Storm Shield defenses bases, and just where you can put in furniture and put in different art styles and make something really absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they really are missing out on a huge potential, because me and you have talked about it plenty of times off camera, and I completely agree that the original quote unquote Fortnite creative was in your storm shield after you completed 10 storm shields.
Right.
I think, they had this whole little node on your map called Play with Others. Why not have a node dedicated to an endless wave of storm shields and then have your real storm shield? Your real
Yeah.
storm shield, after you get to 10, you unlock creative mode. You get rewarded for doing that. And, maybe Epic Games, they can, just bring over creative mode. It's not like, it's going to take too much. You just sit there, you got Heavy Bass Kyle, floating around with his little phone, placing stuff down. And, the community here is creative. There's a person in the community by the name of Smelby. He's created the craziest things in a storm shield. He's got a giant castle and a robot and an airplane. And it's just like, can you imagine what these people can do if they had creative mode? And, in Save the World, you might bring up the argument. You're like, well, what's the point of creative mode if you have it in Save the World? Well, in creative mode, you can just hop in and do it. In Fortnite Save the World, you got to work for it to unlock it. And then you can keep it an integral part of your own game. You invite people to your storm shield. Maybe by that time you have a proper trading system. You have all this cool stuff for them to look at. Hey, here's 300 bright core. Give me the sunbeam. Blah blah blah. And then they're like, stay around and look around. You look at games like Warframe. They have the clan dojos, and those are probably, I've put in at least like 300, 400 hours of Warframe. That's probably one of the biggest customizations that I've really seen recently in recent games, and I don't think it's at all anywhere outside the realm of possibility in an ever-evolving game like Fortnite Save the World that we get an aspect that already exists in a separate mode and allows more customization for us. And then the people that like Storm Shields, they can do an unlimited Storm Shield mode, which has also been asked for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think that's really where Save the World shines. One thing with Battle Royale, no matter how much you love it or anything, you're not creating anything that sticks around. So, you can buy things to give you different looks, different dances, different pickaxes, but it's not yours. You didn't create it. Where now in Save the World, and we've always kind of had it where you could actually create something, you invest something totally unique nobody else has, and keep building on that aspect. And to me, that's what keeps a person with the game for a long time, or even if they leave the game, they come back because they keep coming up with new ideas. And then I would love it where, you could just do massive builds, and then you could just do an endless wave attack of us. Or you could add in, kind of like I've mentioned before, with a pylon with 3 different tabs. One tab for what level, increasing the level of the husk. Tab 2 for adding on the special effects like death burst, acid pools, all that. And then the third one, mini bosses. 1 mini boss with each wave, 3 mini bosses with each wave, or 5 mini bosses with each wave to really, really push a team. Because I'm sorry, if I can solo every single Storm Shield defense in the game under level by 20 levels, like when I was in Twine Peaks, then for top level players, it's not really a challenge when they have 4 people doing it that are 40 levels higher than the thing. So why not give something super challenging to the people who really love investing time and effort to the game?
Oh yeah, I don't think at all it's, not realistic because, like you said, the Stand and Fight campaign, that's pretty much locked behind 2018, and then you also got Frostnite, which is going to kind of bleed over to 2019. But mainly what we're talking about here is we're talking about 2019 Fortnite Save the World. And the good thing about it is that we are going into Fortnite 2019. If Frostnite goes over well, we're going on a good foot. We just had all this great stuff come to the game, all this great stuff happen. There's really nothing that is saying that we can't get any of this stuff in 2019. Their main focus is going to be on the longevity of the game in 2019. You think they're focusing on the longevity by doing Canny Valley? I mean, nobody can repeat the Canny Valley campaign over and over again. Granted, it is an essential part, and it's very important, so I'm glad that they got it. In 2019, you're focused on the longevity. You're finishing out Twine Peaks. Then maybe if they finish out Twine Peaks earlier than any of us expect, who knows how long they've been working on it, then we're going to see in-game content. We might see unlimited storm shields at the very least. We might see modifiers for storm shields. We might see that kind of stuff so that people can go in there, they can test, maybe place a test dummy, shoot it, test damage numbers. We might see some crazy stuff like that, because with what you just said is what a lot of people who are looking for, like people like White Sushi that are trying to number crunch and get information out, that's the easiest way for them to just go in there and just test a bunch of stuff instead of having to go into missions and hoping they find a smasher, or, doing this, doing that. It would really be beneficial. So I think if there is a time that we're going to get anything like unlimited storm shields with modifiers and stuff, it'll probably be after Twine Peaks, because that kind of stuff is repeatable for the rest of forever. And as long as they kind of make sure that you have a tier of rewards that you get and kind of makes it worth it instead of you going in there just to waste your ammo, then it's something that we could see. But after the Twine Peaks, story completion, the possibilities are really endless. And we might sound like two madmen talking about something that might never come to the game, but in all honesty, Epic Games are a little bit more surprising than you'd think. Look at Battle Royale with an entire cutscene in a multiplayer game where people are floating through space and time.
Yes. And you got to remember also, when the game first came out, they gave every indication that there was going to be a zone after Twine Peaks.
Yep.
The 6-star materials all had like Spectral and Moon in their name. They had a Launch the Rocket for Twine Peaks, showing that at some point you were supposed to, at the end of Twine Peaks, do launch a rocket to go to the next zone. So hopefully that is a moon area or space area. And even in the opening tutorial, when you start off, there is a husk attached to the rocket flying through the sky, and the husk is floating around in space. And I think it's Ray makes the comment, "Oh, we'll get to him later."
Yep.
So yeah, there is enormous room for growth. I really think that's what they see in Save the World. Battle Royale, super fun, huge audience, but the growth, they probably don't see as much over there as they do for Save the World.
Yeah, I definitely say that Save the World has more room to grow than Battle Royale, because Battle Royale, in my opinion, has hit its peak in popularity. I could be wrong statistically, but for the most part, you don't normally have any people that in real life that have either not heard of Battle Royale from Fortnite. In all honesty, if you guys have ever met somebody that just has no clue what Fortnite is, then they probably have never even picked up a controller. So Save the World has that growth potential. Save the World also has that money potential. You don't have cosmetics in the game yet. You don't have David Dean doesn't have a way to shake his moneymaker yet. We don't we don't have anything like that. And that is stuff that we've been asking for day one. And weapon wraps. Maybe I want to have a pink Nocturno with a white skull on it. I don't know, but allow players eventually to have that kind of stuff. And then I think Epic Games, this was my argument for the longest time, saying that Epic, why aren't you developing for Save the World? This has so much potential. You can make so much money off of this. And now we're starting to see that development. And, we're seeing all this new stuff come to Battle Royale. I think pretty soon that we are going to see stuff like cosmetics in the game and more ways that you're going to be able to customize what you're doing in the game. So I think with that coming, with the possibility, like you said, of another zone, obviously, it's the beginning cinematic. They had plans from it, from the future, I mean. And, we have all these 5-star mats, 6-star mats. And why would they exist if they didn't have a purpose later on down the line? And if they didn't have a purpose later on down the line, then, why just throw them in there? It doesn't make any sense. So I think they do have pretty crazy plans for the future. And maybe those clickbait Galaxy Element videos we might actually see come true. Maybe the Galaxy Element will be a thing in space.
Yeah, and I've said before, all they got to do is the same thing they did with weapons, with perks, do that to heroes, where you click on and it shows the different skins. First of all, the different skins as you evolve them up, because like with the wolf, Dire, maybe you don't want to play them as the final one. You want to play them as the middle one. Some people want to do that. That should be for free. But after that, you could add on skin. All of the Battle Royale skins, they could just move over. I would have them assigned to different heroes. So you still have hero identification the second you see the way it looks. But I mean, like in the event out right now, the Santa Claus they have in that event, that is a cool looking Santa Claus. I would love to have that as a constructor. Sleeves ripped off and going to town. Yeah, I would spend money on that. Oh, yeah. And I'm really, really cheap with my money. So if I'm willing to do it, I'm sure there's millions of others that would be willing to do it. And then the same thing with weapons. Add one more perk, that is skin. And then you could change it up.
Oh, so, yeah. You know, just it's kind of like perk recombobulator in a way. Just have its own little thing. You can open it up and, you know, you use your V-Buck currency or however they plan on doing it. Honestly, I don't got a problem with V-Bucks being the system that they use for it because me personally, to be honest, I don't really buy llamas. I go out of my way to buy llamas to support whoever I'm supporting. You know, so far I've supported Cylon, who's a Twitch streamer, Criddle Craddle, then I supported you, and then now I'm back to Cylon again. I keep watching his Twitch streams, haven't been able to donate, so I'm trying to support him the best way I can. But yeah, I honestly don't really spend V-Bucks on llamas, and I rarely even buy them. The only time I will ever buy them is like, hey, I need a little bit more Fortnite candy. Let me just buy some, you know, V-Bucks really quick, go and get that so I can hopefully get the Survivor or something. But I think that cosmetics are going to be very important in the game. And like you said, you know, I do agree. We should have to have some kind of hero identification unless the whole hero changes in the future, completely change that. I'm not sure. But yeah, cosmetics are definitely a needed thing in the game. Weapon skins are a needed thing in the game. It's definitely a huge cash cow and huge cash cow potential for Epic Games. But pretty much, you know, so far we've covered Frostnite. We've covered, you know, potential 2019 stuff. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this? I'm pretty sure we kind of touched on pretty much the most important stuff in this podcast so far.
No, not too much. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There was a bunch of just little things. But I love the way Epic is really just trying to take charge of everything with the Epic Store and all the good stuff. I do think what you're touching on, the V-Bucks, how it was originally set up with llamas is now broken. That because when you first started, you had to get the llamas and you would get, if you loved the Siegebreaker, well, that wasn't good enough because you had to get good perks on it. So you would keep going again and again, trying to do the weapon llama. Just if you even had 2 good perks on it, you were happy. But now you can do it 3 and get a absolutely god Siegebreaker without doing a single llama.
Oh yeah.
The only reason for llamas in the game anymore are mythic lead survivors. That's the only thing I would recommend spending V-Bucks on, which is the Super People Llama, the Smorgasbord Llama, whatever gives you the highest rate of that. But besides that, it's broken. They need another way to bring income into the game. And to me, it's buying skins for the pickaxe, for the heroes, for the weapons. And yeah, I want to see that come. And when it does, it will be a windfall for Epic Games, I think. Huge.
Oh yeah. In 2019, you know, it is very possible that we see something like that because it's like you said, you know, you get the Siegebreaker and then you're good. You can just change it over the course of time. But even then, you know, maybe the Siegebreaker is your cup of tea, but maybe it's not. The event weapons that they give are far better than most of the, you know, starter weapons. You know, you got the Room Sweeper and the Tiger Draw that stand out. Hunter Killer stands out. You know, you got a few of them here and there. But for the most part, you're looking for, like, some of the best weapons in the game. You know, you're looking for, like, the Hacksaw. You're looking for, like, the Wraith, Dragoon, Old Betsy. You know, all these event items. And now, you know, we do have some scavenger weapons and we have some hydraulic weapons. But only a handful of those are even really that viable in the end game. So I think I completely agree with you, you know, that the llama system's broken. I think that all they need to do now, if they really want to make things kind of finalized, is basically stop locking progression behind microtransactions. With us having to, you know, for me, it's not that big of a deal. I'm already over level 100. I don't care to get higher of a level. It'll happen eventually. So, but for most people that try to min max, it's locked behind V-Bucks. And yes, you can earn those naturally and whatever. But, most of the time people don't, and they're very impatient. So that's the only thing that's locked behind a paywall. Whereas everything else, you go to the collection book, you research it, you do what you got to do. Mythic Lead survivors are a whole different story. So I think if they do have a sense of in-game, hey, if you complete this raid that we got, you get a guaranteed random mythic survivor. It's just something crazy like that to help people out that need progression and stuff like that. And then your main money can be from cosmetics. And, I hope that we see some kind of integration like that in 2019 or maybe even 2020 if it takes that long. But I think that the whole is as well with the the loot box scandal going around, with these companies that are investigating into it, trying to determine if it's actually gambling or anything.
Okay, yeah.
I think that Epic Games might have to end up changing it because Battle Royale doesn't have any sense of that. You see what you want, you buy it, and that's what Save the World needs to be.
You're right, and that's where they made their money. I mean, really, Battle Royale made their money off people spending money that had no impact on the gameplay whatsoever. And that's the way it should be for Save the World. If you want to spend money to look pretty, spend the money. If you don't, then just play the game for free and have fun.
Oh yeah. With Save the World, I think at the time it was justified. A lot of games had just implemented loot boxes. I believe around the launch, you had around the Save the World area, you had Overwatch either being released or becoming popular. I can't remember. But Overwatch is a huge loot box based game where, in the sense that everything you get doesn't affect gameplay, but it's still loot box oriented. I think that Epic Games are kind of living in the past with Save the World. They're using a system that's pretty outdated right now. They've already given us ways around the llamas to research what we want. Allow us to research mythic leads. Make it a crazy price. Do whatever you got to do. Make Mythic Flux or something that is an in-game item that you can get at the highest tier of whatever you're doing. Storm King and Twine Peaks, have them drop Mythic Flux, allow us to research our mythic survivors. Get rid of the llama system. We can already get everything that we want from the collection book, and just come in with some kind of new system to replace it so it's not too bad, and then have the cosmetic system there. But I think at the end of the day, that'll really bring Save the World up to modern terms and kind of get it where it needs to be. Because you look at Battlefront 2, the most recent Star Wars game from EA. Progression was locked behind loot boxes at launch. They had loot boxes taken out of the game extremely fast after the community was very annoyed with that. So I think that eventually, if EA are willing to just completely take loot boxes out of the game, I'm pretty sure that Epic Games, even though there's not really an uproar, they're gonna see that, hey, we don't really have any room for this. There's really no reason to have it. Let's just go ahead and move it out of the way. And at the end of the day, they can keep it. Just give us some ways to work around it with mythic leads. And honestly, I could care less.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it at the beginning, and people really went off. They did it on two things. Well, first, throughout the game, they made it way more complicated than it had to be. Just like when you finish a mission, how many screens do you have to go through to say you're done with the mission? Give me one screen, and now they put the skip button on there, but I still have that screen. Why can't I just complete the mission, show me all that information on one screen, and boom, I'm done? Same thing with the llamas. Like, I didn't realize it, but I just saw right before this video, I had been doing some streams on doing the Storm Shield defenses, and I just noticed I got 28 mini llamas to open. And when I saw that, I didn't get happy. I don't want to have to click on 28 mini llamas. Just give me my stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the llamas are a lot of times more annoying than they are fun. They try to turn it into this super happy thing with the graphics and everything, and it looked really cool the first couple times I did it. But it gets really old really fast. They still need to put the llama in there somewhere, but yes, they got to change it around. They have to streamline it, and right now they don't serve the purpose that they originally served in the game.
Oh,
so
yeah. Whenever
they know that they have to be changing it.
whenever it comes to the end of the mission, you know, just let us
Still
hit.
got my llama bell.
Whenever it comes to the end of the mission, you know, allow us to just click go to home base, and then as we load up at home base, you know, show us all of our loot boxes or something, whatever we got throughout the mission, our caches and our gift boxes or whatever, and then just kind of let us press, you know, click on it, press A, press X, whatever, and then just open it all at one time. You know, just show us everything, you know, here. As far as llamas are concerned, you say you want to open 10 at a time. Let us smash one llama and then 10 loot.
Boom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That simple. You don't have to keep, you know, mini llama drops down, mini llama drops down, mini llama. It gets old. Okay, most people have like 500 of these things because they just don't open them up because we have a cap on gold. So it's just small things like that.
Too.
Yeah, it's just small things. You know, we got the essential story done in 2018. 2019, I think it's time to streamline the game. Twine Peak story is an essential. In-game is an essential. After that, cosmetics can get introduced. You know, endless modes can get introduced. And then we might be able to see, you know, some quality of life changes, like an end screen that is not so annoying to get out of, and you know, going through our own loot, because it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be like, oh yay, I got some perk materials, woo, let me click through like 50 more things and then finally get back to where I can get to another mission. So I think 2019 is going to be pretty good. I think Frostnite is going to be pretty good, and overall, pretty sure this podcast is pretty good as well.
Outstanding.
So,
you never fail.
See, I am a perfectionist at heart. That is why you're on here. But thank you so much for coming on, David. If there's anything that you got to say, you know, obviously say it, make it known to the people.
No, I'm loving first of all, I got to do a shout out to the community, the whole Save the World community. As I said, when I first started this, I didn't want to do YouTube because I heard how toxic it was. We have made a community here, unlike what you see sometimes on Reddit, a very toxic free. People will comment and tell me I've done things wrong or it shouldn't be that way, but it's done in a civil manner. And even with the YouTubers, we talk, we help each other. At the end of the day, our goal is to make the game better. And so shout out to you, all the others, and to the community. Thank you.
Guys, David Dean's link will be in the description. We talk about him all the time here on the channel, either in the live streams and the videos, just joking around. He is a really good YouTube friend of mine. Go check out his channel. You know, me and him talk all the time off camera. We shoot ideas back and forth. And finally, after a while of talking, this is the podcast that has finally got recorded. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Like I said, make sure you go over there. Make sure you go subscribe to David Dean. After you're done using my support a creator code, use this man's support a creator code, okay? We're still in 2018. He's got some donating to do to charity. Help the guy out. But guys, thank you so much for watching. That has been David Dean. That has also been me. We are two beautiful, fine young men. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.